At the pace you're going right now, you will not attain your goal of being top wine seller or producer in Canada. Hello, everyone. My name is Nessa Godsafar, and I wanted to take a minute on behalf of myself and my team to thank you, Diamond Estate, for hiring us and allowing us the opportunity to present our analysis and recommendations for your company. My team members include Alejandro, Luis, and Matthew, who you will be meeting later on in our presentation. Today, we are here to help you, Diamond Estate, to recreate your marketing approach and strategies, help you reduce your costs and increase your profits and revenue to benefit you and your customers. The wine industry is incredibly fragmented, but we want you to be even bigger and bolder in order to stand out amongst the crowd of all the bottles and labels on the shelves. We believe that Diamond Estate Wines has the capability to expand and enhance the company because the wine itself is stellar and high quality, while we also having a company with such great resources, assets, and skills. Let's jump right into it with the initial problems and issues that we see with the company. From the customer point of view, you noticed already that there are only 3 retail locations and an online site to make purchases. This makes it incredibly difficult for an increase in sales when there's such limited locations. On the business and financial aspect of it, we see the cost of goods sold and all the operating costs are soaring while the net income is incredibly low alongside the high debt of the company. Diamond Estate is also on a continuous drop in their stock prices and there's no sign of rise. Lastly, we see roughly 40 employees dedicated to solely marketing and sales, which you would think with that many employees focusing on that specific area would result in more revenue, but in fact it is being counterproductive and it is hurting the revenues and not seeing any growth. The marketing is incredibly slow. We are actually lacking traffic, especially on the social media perspective of it. When we look at the Instagram and Facebook social media aspect of it, there's very little interaction. And most of the time, there's 0 comments or any likes. And we want to change that because that is key to succeeding in your company. We believe you have the correct resources and could efficiently grow the business and generate a higher revenue. But unfortunately, the resources are not being used sufficiently. But not to worry at all. We have our alternatives and recommendations of relocations, creating long-term profit, a merge of companies, all while reducing costs in the long run. With our new marketing strategy and plan, we can turn this downward track of Diamond Estate right around and see an increase in revenue and a superior wine company that stands out amongst a fragmented industry. Your goal is to be top 3 wine companies in Canada, and we can get you there. With that said, thank you again for your time, and I'm going to pass on to Alejandro, who will be touching base on the industry segment and the external environment of the company.
Thank you, Nessa. Today I will be discussing with you your business, industry, and segment and the company's external environment. Diamond's business model includes a number of wine and alcoholic brands that are represented on an agency basis with a portfolio of more than 120 brands. We have determined that you are in the wine industry. This is an industry that is well established. Furthermore, it is clear that your company is a vertically integrated company that has the potential to penetrate new geographical growth areas, such as China and the United States. Your market segment is in the sales of manufactured wines. Your company has a broad portfolio of leading international wines. Your leading geographical area includes Canada, with your beverage alcoholic market continuously growing, outpacing most consumer categories. Furthermore, the demand for imported wine in China is continuously growing, making a potential strong entrance into the market. The wine and alcoholic beverage industry in Canada is intensely competitive, consisting of many large and small Canadian corporations and international corporations, with some possessing excessive experience and financial resources. After analyzing the external environment of your company, Diamond operates in a highly regulated retail liquor industry throughout Canada. The Alcohol and Gaming Commission of Ontario, the Liquor Control Board of Ontario, and similar liquor boards throughout Canada may issue decisions, enact rules, new legislation, regulations, or make changes to existing legislation or regulations which can impact the operation of Diamond both favorably and unfavorably. There is no assurance that new legislation or regulations or changes to existing legislation or regulations or decisions of any regulatory bodies in the retail liquor industry in Canada will not adversely affect the operations, profitability, or transferable cash of Diamond. This makes the operation of the company in the industry extremely uncertain due to so many regulations. For the physical aspect of the external environment, the production and sale of wine is dependent upon a consistent supply of high quality grapes available at reasonable prices. Should some or all of the wineries that Diamond works with be unable to produce the quality of grapes necessary to produce wine, such a shortfall in product could adversely affect the operations, profitability, and distributable cash of the company. If any of Diamond's vineyards experience certain weather variations, natural disasters, pestilence, or other severe environmental problems or other occurrences, Diamond may not be able to secure a sufficient supply of grapes, and there could be a decrease in the production of certain products from those regions and an increase in costs. Diamond Estates consumers span widely, with 33% of its consumers being baby boomers, 36% being millennials, and 18% being Generation X. In addition to this, the younger generation tend to consume sweeter tasting wines than their older counterparts. Furthermore, consumers in growth markets such as the United Kingdom tend to have a higher income and be married compared to mature markets. The price of the wine is a good indication of the type of consumers that are brought together. The consumer who buy more expensive wines tend to be much younger compared to those who buy less expensive wines. For the social aspect of the external environment, many people have seen the health benefits of consuming wine, such as fewer calories, less hangovers, and long-term health benefits. Furthermore, wine is surveyed to be consumed in meals more often than at social gatherings and is seen as a gift for celebration. Finally, with new technologies being introduced, iced wine that was once only available to be produced in Canada and Scandinavian countries due to the weather conditions in these countries can now be penetrated by new entrants wanting to compete in this specific segment of the wine production. Due to new technologies that can imitate the weather conditions. Now I will pass it on to Luis so he can talk about the competitive forces of Diamond.
Thanks, Alejandro. Hello, my name is Luis Heredia, and now that we have a better understanding of the environment, I would like to talk more about the specifics of the wine industry. After using Porter's 5+1 forces to analyze the industry, we found that rivalry is high due to there being many competitors. Some of the most notable competitors being Arterra and Andrew Peller. Another noteworthy rival that cuts into the profitability of the wine industry is the beer industry. In 2016, Canadians purchased $22.1 billion worth of alcoholic beverages. Beer made up 41% of those sales, while wine made up 31.6%. Due to the fact that there are many competitors in the business, the bargaining power of buyers is extremely high. Switching costs are very low for consumers, allowing them to choose any brand or variety of wine that they would like to consume. There are also many restaurants that need to purchase large percentages of alcohol, which increases their specific bargaining power. The bargaining power of suppliers in the wine industry tends to be very low. Although wine manufacturers have the options to purchase grapes from suppliers, most grow their own crops in order to keep constant quality and taste in their products. Other wine manufacturers also depend on specific conditions that are difficult to replicate in order to grow grapes and make their own wine. Although there aren't many barriers, the level to risk of entry is moderate because the starting cost of making a winery can be relatively high. To start a winery that can produce about 5,000 cases of wine, it would cost an approximate amount of $1 million. This amount of capital is needed to purchase land in order to grow grapes, winemaking equipment like machinery and wood barrels, bottling supplies, and labor. In addition to this, the wine industry in Canada is very heavily regulated. In order to create wine, it is necessary for wineries to have a permit, and even the prices of wine are regulated throughout Canada. Government regulations also limit global wine sales as online shopping is becoming a much more prominent method of selling. These risks pose more of a problem later in a company's life cycle. The threat of substitutes is moderate to low because there aren't many possible substitutes that can replace alcohol. Potential substitutes could be soda, juice, caffeinated beverages, or possibly candy. Some would consider the use of cannabis a threat to the wine industry as it has been legalized in some states and is becoming more prevalent in social settings where wine is often seen. Regardless, there isn't enough evidence to support this possibility. Lastly, the power of complement providers is relatively moderate to low. When consumers purchase wine at a nice restaurant, it usually complements the dish that is being eaten. For instance, a red wine would usually be paired with a steak, while a white wine is meant to be consumed with fish. Another complement to wine would be the wine tours that are given to tourists by wine manufacturers, allowing them to see where the wine that they are tasting is grown and processed. Diamond Estate Winery and Spirits is currently in the growth stage of the industry life cycle, as their profitability is growing significantly each year. Now, the industry is not very attractive as rivalry is too high among competitors. There are many companies that are essentially creating the very similar products to one another, and it is hard to differentiate. The starting costs are too high for casual wine manufacturers to enter the industry, and the bargaining power of buyers is too strong, making it difficult for lesser known businesses to make profits. Alongside Diamond Estate Wineries, they also own Trajectory, a business unit that sells and distributes many varieties of wine, which is important to note for Diamond's value chain. For inbound logistics, wine is manufactured at the wineries that Diamond owns and is stored and kept on their properties. Trajectory receives wine from many different companies as it plans to sell them in their retail stores. Wine is not only manufactured on site, but it is also grown and bottled as well. The distribution and selling of wine is a part of Diamond's outbound logistics. Wine is mainly sold through Trajectory. The use of social media has a very low engagement, which has been a negative effect on their marketing tactics, and sales are affected by the amount of diversity in their wines. And customer service is mainly provided through the retail stores that Diamond owns. The first of Diamond's support activities is the firm infrastructure. They currently own 3 wineries, 2 of which are located in Ontario, and the third, which is the newest, is in British Columbia. As Diamond continues to grow, they are expanding themselves to reach their goals of becoming the top 3 wine producers. Diamond has a few problems with their human resource management, as they have too many employees in the wrong departments. Approximately 43% of employees are located in marketing and sales, which would have better use in other departments as their marketing strategies aren't very effective as they could be. Technological development is weak as the wine production process isn't changing and innovation is seemingly at a standstill. Diamond's procurement of goods is mainly obtained through their business unit Trajectory. Thank you. I will now pass it on to Nessa.
Thank you so much, Louise, and we're going to jump right into tangible resources from here. First off, we will be starting with physical assets, which is pretty self-explanatory. For Diamond Estate, they have 3 retail stores, which falls under their physical assets. Then they have their wineries, which comes with the buildings, of course, and the land. And this takes up 22.06 million for their physical assets. Next, we go on to their financial assets. First off, we have their accounts receivable, which holds 3.55 million of the financial asset portion of it. Next, we have stocks, which is 19.01 million. And lastly, which unfortunately was not information disclosed by Diamond Estate, was the cash portion of it. Next, we have the technological resources, which of course are, again, very self-explanatory. They're the copyrights and the patents of the wines, the labels in the wineries. It's just preventative and making sure that all of their brands are patented. And lastly, we have the organizational resources, which shockingly are their grapes. Who would have thought? But their grapes that they use to create their wines are their organizational resources, along with the equipment that is used for the wine creation and, of course, packaging, labeling, manufacturing. Any of that equipment will also fall under that. Next, we have their intangible resources, which holds 3.07 million. First off, we have human resources, which of course is their employees, and it is the human resource employees, it is the employees of the company, it is what human resources stands for to make sure that all the employees are safe and their concerns are heard. Second, we have reputation, which is key to a successful business no matter what industry you're in. This is a large portfolio of their wines. To be standing out in a fragmented industry, you want to make sure that your reputation is stellar. You want people to talk about you, you want good reviews, and you want to make sure that when you hear the name of your wine and the name of your company, that is followed with good things said. And that helps you succeed in any company and industry you're in. You want to hold a good and high reputation, which brings in customers and will keep your business flowing because people will always want. Lastly, we have our innovation resources. And that ties it up for tangible and intangible resources. And I'm going to send it on over to Matthew.
Thanks, Nessa. To analyze your firm, we can refer to the magic triangle shown. This blueprints how your company creates and captures value. Your company typically targets wine and other alcoholic beverage consumers, with the majority of them being in Ontario, Canada. What brings value to your consumers is offering a wide variety of high quality, locally and internationally created wines, as well as other alcoholic beverages. By strategically selecting and offering more than 120 different alcoholic products to consumers, your customers are able to find something that will fit them for any occasion. With the analysis from the Magic Triangle, it appears offering a wide variety of beverages is the main advantage you offer in the industry. With that being said, it isn't necessarily difficult to imitate the strategy you incorporate. Also, with such a narrow scope of operating majority in Ontario, it is difficult for you to reach a wider consumer target. Although your website does offer your products, it is more likely that the consumer will buy wine from their local stores instead of online. Building off that, it is clear to see that Diamond Estates operates in the focus of a differentiation strategy. By offering over 120 different alcoholic beverages, there are many options for consumers to decide from. With a wide spread of products also comes a wide spread of different prices. That being said, Diamond Estates offers wines at a low, high, and everything in between price rate. Diamond Estates should focus on being able to use its differentiation to its advantage. This can be done by offering another location for your retail store, which will also attract new consumers in the area. Further continuing into your corporate level strategy, Diamond Estates' mission statement is to increase revenues and profits by continuously improving marketing campaigns, as well as utilizing better allocation of Diamond Estates' widespread amount of resources. Also, Diamond Estates has a vision to continuously create and carry high quality and alcoholic beverages. This vision is attractive because people want to have high quality wine products to consume. Your goal states that you want to become one of the top 3 Canadian wine producers. There are 2 points I would like to talk about when analyzing this statement. First, in order to become one of the top Canadian wine producers, it is likely you need to expand your brand and not have online ordering be your only channel outside of Ontario. Secondly, being one of the top wine producers in Canada seems a bit ambiguous. What metrics would we use to describe the top wine producers? Alejandro will cover the financial metrics to answer this question.
After analyzing your company's balance sheet, we were able to get a general idea of how your company was doing financially. With the average gross profit margin of 30% in the retail wine industry, Diamond Wines is currently operating well below profit. We looked at your net profit margin and it was at negative 15.6%, which means you are currently operating at a loss. This shows that Diamond is not anywhere close to achieving their goal of being the top 3 wine distributors in the wine industry. Furthermore, the negative operation of the company means that Diamond needs to find financing due to the fact that the company does not have enough cash flows to cover expenses. Looking at your asset turnover, which is at 0.56, it gives an understanding that your assets are not producing as much income compared to other companies in the industry. Your asset turnover ratio is currently at a low end and needs to be increased to show stronger financial stability. Your company's return on equity is at negative 23.2, which is not standard for the industry, which is around 5 to 8%. Finally, your return on assets is currently hovering around negative 7.7, which means for every dollar spent on assets, there is a loss of $7.7 compared to the industry average, which is at 3.7. These financial ratios shows that Diamond Wines is currently not in a strong financial standing. Now I will pass it on to Luis.
Thanks, Alejandro. The VRIO framework determines whether parts of a business can possibly give a competitive advantage. Outsourcing and cost efficiency give a competitive disadvantage as it is not valuable, rare, difficult to imitate, or without substitutes. Although reputation and brand recognition is both valuable and difficult to imitate, it is not necessarily rare or without substitutes due to there being a high amount of competitors within the industry. Because of this, it is at a competitive parity. Diamond's human resources does not differentiate itself in any way, giving it a disadvantage. Innovative product and design is valuable and difficult to imitate, but again, it is not rare or without substitutes, as many in the industry have innovative products. Diamond's marketing is at a disadvantage because they are not using the potential of their platforms to draw in more customers. Lastly, Diamond does not have an effective in-store operations as they do not contrast themselves from other stores, giving them a competitive disadvantage. Diamond Estate Winery and Spirits brings most of the value to themselves through the selling and distribution of their own wine alongside the 100 other brands that they sell through Trajectory. Diamond Company is not very rare as they are very similar to other businesses that follow the exact same framework, which makes it very easy to imitate. Diamond makes good use of their infrastructure, allowing them to keep growing as their business ages. Thank you. I will now pass it on to Matthew.
Thanks, Luis. The first alternate solution we talk about will increase revenue and profits. The plan is to open another alcoholic beverage retail store in Quebec. Ontario is where the most sales come from for Diamond Estates due to the high population and high alcohol consumption rates. Another reason why Ontario generates the most sales for your company is due to the fact that all of your current retail stores are in Ontario. Potentially, You want to open another store outside of Ontario that has a high population and a high alcohol consumption rate. Quebec is the perfect potential location, as it is very similar to the numbers Ontario currently has. We believe that by opening up a new retail store is a great step in achieving your goal of becoming one of the top 3 wine producers in Canada. Since Diamond Estates is known to be an industry consolidator, you can apply some of your upper level tactics to strategically get insights on the new location. In order to get the maximum value out of opening a new retail store in Quebec, there are some very important factors that you must take into consideration. When operating a new retail location, we recommend that you choose an area in Quebec with a high foot traffic rate. These locations include the downtown areas such as Saint Jean and Notre Dame. In Canada, the anything new trend is applied heavily. This means that with the right marketing, your new store should be a hotspot as people want to check out the new hype. It is important that you strategically set up your store and showcase your best products available because the first impression is most important here. We also recommend that you continuously rotate your products in store and keep the consumer favorites in that area. A benefit to operating your new store includes another step in growth, which will come with increased revenues and profits. On the other hand, a couple cons would be increased costs, as well as the chance of low foot traffic if not strategically planned. If you take the steps mentioned earlier, we predict that your company can take an effective step in the direction of achieving your goal of becoming a top 3 wine producer in Canada, as well as creating a big boom in a new sales market. But hold in your excitement because Nessa has an even better alternative.
Thank you so much, Matthew, for the first alternative, recommendation, and pros and cons. We will now be moving on to the second alternative of creating a joint venture. The alternative focuses on increasing revenue, profit, and achieving your goal of becoming top 3 in Canada. We believe that new partnerships with Diamond Estates opens a wider reach with clients and gains much more attraction. Overall, the merge will create a competitive advantage. The wine industry is incredibly fragmented, but that should not make you lose hope. Taking all these steps will ensure long-term growth, which creates long-term profit. The main pro to this alternative right off the bat is being able to have the clientele of the other company. If this alternative was taken, we would recommend merging with companies such as Andrew Peller Unlimited, Corby Spirit and Wine Unlimited, or Arterra. We chose these specific companies because they create the highest revenue and profit and have a very broad marketing reach, which is exactly what Diamond Estate needs. They also have very similar mission goals and strategies as Diamond Estates, and they create such a high percentage of sales, profits, and revenues. We would suggest giving away 42% of the company in exchange for their resources and channels. With that said, we need to make sure that the company honors your requests and needs and wants. Overall, the merge would help the Diamond Estate to create a competitive advantage and break even, which will result in optimal success. Moving on to the pros and cons of this alternative. The pros, of course, will be having a wider reach on audience and clientele because you will not only have the clientele and audience that you currently have, but also the new merging company. Also, joining ventures would increase your revenues from 40% to 60%. It would increase your profit from 27% to 37% and lower your debt from 10% to 33%. Of course, this wide range of percentages and statistics depends on which company of the 3 alternatives that we have given that you would choose. They would also help the company break even and overall create a competitive advantage. The cons of this alternative is, of course, giving away a huge portion of your company, and second, losing control of your company in that 42% because it is now not solely operated and run by you, but it is merged with another company. Lastly, the con that we have is a difficulty to leave the joint venture if it is ever necessary in the future. Any alternative taken is a great one, but we believe the best plan of action to take with the specifics we are given from the company would be to go with alternative number 2, a joint venture, and giving the company 42%. Specifically speaking, a merge with Andrew Peller Unlimited due to their established channeling through Canada and their specific net profit and revenue, alongside their main goals and values as a company. Their ability to ship their wines from Ontario to British Columbia and vice versa is exactly what Diamond Estates needs to succeed. Merging with a company that flourishes in the wine world would result in a 56% increase in marketing, increase profits by 37%, and increase revenues by 60%, all while reducing a third of the debt for Diamond Estates. The plan would hit every aspect and goal that Diamond Estates wants to achieve. It lowers the cost, which helps suppress our debt while creating so much profit that we would build out of the debt as well. This route and action plan assures Diamond Estates uses its plentiful resources and assets and the resources and assets of Andrew Peller to accomplish the goal of top 3 in Canada. And that brings us to the end of our presentation. Thank you all so much for taking the time to listen to our presentations and for hiring us to build on such an amazing company. We believe that as a team, we offer the greatest value. We focus on helping you and your customers. Happy customers result in stable income for the company and keeps the company growing. Even though right now, Diamond Estates is on a downward slope, with our guidance, steps, alternative paths, recommendations, and action plan we can turn it around and give you the optimal results necessary. Every company wants to succeed and have growth and profit, but it's the companies that focus on their strategies and work from within and expand in areas wisely are those that maintain steady growth and come out on top, and Diamond Estates will be that company. Thank you.